What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's video. As many of you know, I recently got a Steam Deck, and man, have I been putting this thing through its paces. RPGs are far and away my favorite genre, and I've been playing a ton of RPGs on my Steam Deck lately. What I want to do with this video is go through 10 games I've enjoyed playing on the Steam Deck so far that I believe really shine on this handheld. The games on this list really shock me with how great they play, and that I can even play them on a handheld system at all. Now, when I got my Steam Deck, I made a video and went over some games that I enjoyed as well, so be sure to check out that video if you haven't had a chance to yet. But after spending more time with the system, the games on this list are games I checked out much more thoroughly, and I didn't want any direct crossover, so if you see some glaring omissions from this list, they are likely in that other video. And with all that said, let's get right into it. First up, I have Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z, and there's been so many video games over the years that have continued to spark my excitement for the series, but this one was a special one for me. The retelling of Dragon Ball Z in RPG form was an instant must play, and it turned out great. It honestly runs really great on the Steam Deck at right around 60 frames per second with really no issues at all. It was already an incredibly well optimized game, and so when I saw the opportunity to jump in on this on a handheld device, I was ecstatic. Visually, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot really impresses with its vibrant and detailed landscapes and cinematics that evoke the spirit of the anime, but in all that modern HD glory. The game's world feels expansive and alive, making exploration and discovery a ton of fun. Gameplay-wise, the combat uses action RPG mechanics that allow you to engage in skill-based fights with the characters you're all too familiar with, showcasing flashy and impactful combat moves that capture the essence of Dragon Ball Z's intense fights. The game offers character progression, skill trees, and interactive moments that really pay homage to the series. I really enjoyed revisiting this one on the Steam Deck, and if you've had the urge to grab this one but you haven't, you absolutely should. Next up is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, this right here is one of the most shockingly well-optimized games on the Steam Deck, full stop. Cyberpunk is a graphical powerhouse and runs quite well on the handheld console. Visually striking, the game retains its breathtaking visuals, intricate cityscapes, and cyberpunk aesthetic that the game is known for. This is one of those games that really makes you feel like this is what the Steam Deck is made for. Having something at this scale in the palm of your hands really feels incredible. Exploring Night City feels as good as ever, and performance is surprisingly not an issue. Even with the new 2.0 update, this game feels great on the Steam Deck. One of the huge reasons I love this game in handheld form is that Cyberpunk 2077 really combines elements of action RPG and incredible open world exploration that is currently unmatched on a handheld device, in my opinion. The game has a variety of cybernetic enhancements, weaponry, and hacking abilities, and allows for diverse playstyles and approaches to missions and combat encounters that you really don't get with any other game. Cyberpunk 2077 is a must-play for those fascinated by futuristic worlds, intricate narratives, and the allure of cyberpunk themes, and if you're a fan of RPGs, then you need this on your Steam Deck for sure. Next up, I have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and as we all know, we've had this on a handheld already. The Nintendo Switch managed to fit this massive game on its handheld a while back, albeit with some pretty extreme compromises to graphical fidelity and performance. I can honestly say that the difference between the Switch and Steam Deck experience is night and day. It's really not even comparable. The Steam Deck manages to run this game at mostly high settings at 40 frames per second. Sitting the Steam Deck and the Switch side by side running The Witcher 3 is quite jarring and really shows off the power of the device. Visually, the game's detailed landscapes, diverse regions, and atmospheric lighting pop, especially if you have that new OLED model. Gameplay-wise, The Witcher 3 offers a seamless combination of engaging combat, exploration, and RPG elements. The combat system features a mix of swordplay, magic signs, and alchemy preparations, offering depth and challenge, while the expansive world encourages exploration. This game offers a plethora of side quests, monster contracts, and intriguing stories, and this all makes for another incredible handheld experience that I honestly still can't believe made its way to a handheld device. I'm so happy to see how well this performs on the Steam Deck, and if you haven't added this to your Steam collection, you definitely should. Moving on, I have Divinity Original Sin 2. This is another game that got its release on the Switch a long time ago, but was quite possibly one of the blurriest and hardest to look at games I've played on the console, so when getting my Steam Deck, I really wanted to boot this one up and see how it performed. I set most graphical settings to high and managed to get around 40 frames per second, but when knocking a few things down to on medium and playing with the graphical settings a bit, I did manage to get about 60 frames per second. It runs beautifully and makes for an incredible experience on the handheld. I mentioned Larian Studios' other major game, Baldur's Gate 3, in my last Steam Deck video, and I still think it is an amazing game to have on the device, but there are times where Baldur's Gate 3 struggles, but Divinity Original Sin 2, being an older game, seems to perform quite a bit better on the handheld device itself. Both should be in your collection though, as they are some of the best RPGs you can play full stop, and they both run pretty well on the Steam Deck. Divinity Original Sin 2 offers robust turn-based combat, strategic character customization, and a multitude of spells and abilities that encourage creativity in tackling challenges you face in the game. This is a true role-playing game that you can squeeze hundreds of hours from. I truly got lost in this one and have enjoyed jumping back into it after getting my Steam Deck. Next on the list, I have Elden Ring. This right here is likely the game I've put the most time in on my Steam Deck. This is one of my favorite games of all time, and I just love having the ability to take this anywhere. It performs incredibly well, and having this on the Steam Deck has reignited my love for the game, and I've started a new playthrough, and I'm having more fun than ever. Visually, the stunning landscapes, diverse environments, and intricate enemy designs shine as well as ever on this handheld console. Now, there are those intense boss fights that I prefer a large screen and a more suitable controller for personally, but it's not to say the Steam Deck can't accommodate these larger-than-life moments. Anytime I had trouble with something on a handheld, I just plugged my Steam Deck into the dock and picked up my controller. The versatility of the system is really great and caters well to games like this one. Elden Ring is one of the greatest games of this generation and should definitely be in your Steam collection if it isn't somehow there already. Next up is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is a collection of one of my all-time favorite game series, and it performs great on the Steam Deck. Back when Mass Effect 2 came out, if you would have told me that in the near future I'd be playing the entire collection of Mass Effect games on a handheld console, I absolutely wouldn't believe you. In fact, I'd think you were probably pretty crazy. But here we are. This collection was incredibly well executed and performs really, really well. This compilation includes Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. The narrative is known for its branching storylines, memorable characters, and impactful decisions, which in my opinion were best executed in my favorite of the series, Mass Effect 2. The most improved game in the series though has to be the original. I mean, this plays like a brand new game and it feels amazing. If you ever dipped into the original Mass Effect and thought, this game feels really dated, then jump into the Legendary Edition and give it another try. It plays great and is a ton of fun on the handheld. This is far and away one of the best packages out there, so definitely pick this one up. Fallout New Vegas is next up on the list. This is a franchise that I really adore and has given me some of the best gaming memories I've ever had. In terms of Fallout games though, New Vegas has to be my favorite of them all. I loved 3 and 4, but New Vegas did some really unique things, and adding the Vegas element with gambling and luck and the story and just how everything came together really resonated with me. This is a perfect game to have on a handheld. It's really not all that demanding, and yeah, it's a little on the older side, but you will absolutely have no shortage of things to explore. Set amidst the ruins of Las Vegas and surrounding areas, the game puts you in a world teeming with factions, conflicts, and moral dilemmas. The game encourages player agency, offering multiple quest solutions, branching dialogue paths, and a reputation system that reacts to the player's choices and allegiances. There is a multitude of ways to play this game, and among my 3 or 4 playthroughs, none of them felt the same. You will get a ton of valuable and enjoyable playing time out of New Vegas for sure, so definitely add this one to your library if you haven't yet. It's usually on sale as well for really cheap, so I'm sure you can get it at a great price. Next up is Nier Automata, and this is one of my all-time favorite JRPGs. There is truly nothing like it out there, and I find myself going back to it time and time again. Like, how does something this amazing get made? It's wild and just so well put together. In terms of the Steam Deck, it runs incredibly well at a high frame rate. I praise the Switch version for its incredible performance, but it only runs at a locked 30 frames per second. While the Steam Deck version can get up to 60 frames per second, and with the importance this game places on timing and moment-to-moment combat, the extra frame rate boost is much appreciated. The game also looks better with improved textures and fidelity, so if you're looking for a great handheld experience for Nier Automata, then that can be definitely had on the Steam Deck for sure. Set in a post-apocalyptic world where androids battle machines for survival, the game dives deep into themes of existentialism, humanity, and the nature of consciousness. The narrative unfolds with a ton of unexpected twists, multiple endings, and a poignant emotional depth that lingers long after the game is finished. Speaking of finishing the game, you will need to finish this game multiple times to see everything it has to offer, and once you pick it up, you won't want to put it down, so that won't be an issue at all. The game's storytelling is enhanced by unconventional game design choices such as shifts in perspectives and gameplay styles, adding extra layers of depth and replayability. This overall experience is mind-blowing. I loved this one, and it is one of the best games on this list for sure. Next up, I have Triangle Strategy. I love this game on Steam Deck for the bigger screen. You'll be doing a ton of reading and spending a ton of time evaluating the battlefield as you make your way through one of the most incredibly told stories in games. This game looks stunning and really pops on the OLED screen if you manage to get that model. The game boasts meticulously crafted environments, detailed character designs, and beautifully rendered landscapes in that amazing HD 2D art style we've all fallen in love with recently. Triangle Strategy shines with its tactical turn-based combat, strategic positioning, and a robust job system that allows for diverse character customization and skill combinations. The game emphasizes terrain and elevation, offering depth and challenge in combat encounters that requires careful planning and adaptation to overcome your adversaries. This is one of my all-time favorite tactical JRPGs, and it really feels right on a handheld system. You can grab this one on the Switch as well, but I liked playing it on the slightly larger handheld screen of the Steam Deck. Finally, last on the list, I have Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. This game has to be on this list because it deserves some love. I'm so happy this is getting a sequel, finally, because this is just an incredible RPG. There are so many cool and unique mechanics that were so ahead of its time. This game is available on just about every system out there, but I've started playing it again on the Steam Deck after the announcement of the sequel. Dragon's Dogma excels with its dynamic combat system, allowing you to customize your character's class and abilities. The game emphasizes real-time combat, encouraging strategic and tactical approaches to confront formidable enemies. Additionally, the innovative pawn system has these AI components providing assistance in battles while offering real depth through shared knowledge and strategies. If you thought Dragon's Dogma 2 looked interesting, then jump into this one and give it a try. I bet you'll really enjoy it. And it's almost always on sale at a really cheap price, so there's no excuse not to give this one a go. Anyway, that's it for my list of favorite RPGs on the Steam Deck. I've still barely scratched the surface of what the system has to offer, and I can't wait to play even more of my Steam library in the coming months. If there's any that didn't make this list that you enjoyed, then please do let me know in the comments below. I always enjoy reading those. That's it for me today, so until next time, I'm out.